Yo, what's good? It's your boy Cgnature. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Now, in today's video, I'm going to show you how I go about mixing my rap vocals, and hopefully some of my process tips and tricks are something that you can use on your own mixing sessions. So let's get to the video. This is the chain. So let's do a quick A and B. This is without. Level, ultra instinct, I'm that nigga. Always invoke emotion every time I spit a line. Lyrical bullets, I open my mouth and murder like homicide. I do this shit all the time. I spit lava like no other, no baller, clever. Face to face, I tell you straight, you's a bitch, nigga. So, the first plugin on the chain is the Waves NS1. It's a noise suppressor, sort of like a noise gate. I just dragged it to like 4 dB, nothing fancy. The only reason why I love this plugin is because it's like foolproof, as in like FOOL. So you could literally be the dumbest person in the world and you're gonna have a very, very hard time messing up your vocal mix using this plugin, trust me. So that's the first plugin. And then the second plugin in the mix is the FabFilter Pro Q3. My favorite EQ, by the way. Now, this is a very clean quality EQ. It doesn't have a tone. It's a very flat one. Here, the biggest thing that I did was cut off the low end. That means anything from 90 hertz going down is out. So I took everything out from 90 hertz going down. Then I did a sort of a soft, small boost at around 180 to 190 because I sort of felt like the vocal was lacking a bit of like low mids. So I wanted to bring those forward, but I didn't want to do it in a static format where it's constantly boosting that. I wanted it to boost only where it's needed. That's why for this EQ in today's chain, I'm using all of the knobs dynamically. That means all of them are dynamic cuts and dynamic boosts, and specifically this one over here is a dynamic boost. So it only boosts when I wanted to at a specific threshold. When the low end or low mid rather fails to reach this specific threshold, in this case, it brings it forward or raises it up. And then these are pretty much all cuts, and I'm just gonna preview some of them here. Let me mute everything in the mix except the vocal. Like, for instance, here, I didn't like this boxer tone. I didn't like that, even this. Just felt like it was muddying up the mix or the vocal, so I just needed to get rid of that. Even this as well, around like the 800 to 1K range. I try my level best to not really touch the 1K range because I know from 1K to like 2K is where like the most important like fundamental frequencies of the vocal just sit. But however, here around the 800 to like 900 hertz for me, I didn't like that tone for this specific vocal. This is the frequency that I took off. There we go. And then another very important one is here at around 7K to 8K. I felt like there was a lot of sibilance here, so I dealt with it using the dynamic EQ again. Please, I hope you're listening to this in like headphones or studio monitors so you can really, really hear what I'm doing here. But without going through each and every individual knob, I'm going to play the song again and then just A and B the EQ so you can hopefully hear what it's doing, because it's very subtle moves, but the collective of subtle moves is what brings a big difference. Okay, without the EQ, level ultra instinct, I'm that nigga. Always invoke emotion every time I spit a line. Lyrical bullets, I open my mouth and murder like homicide. I do this shit all the time. I spit lava like no other. Because now I'm happy with where the vocal is sitting, I've dealt with all of the frequencies that I don't like. This is where I typically then add a compressor. Because now I'm telling the compressor that, okay, listen, I've fixed all the unwanted things with my vocal. I've shaped the vocal to what I want it to be. Now take this shaped EQ'd vocal and somewhat balance it properly and bring forward only the good frequencies within the vocal, okay? So this is where the compressor comes in. So I introduced the CLA 1176 compressor, beautiful classic analog compressor, beautiful for vocals. Now with this, I typically use this preset for, if let's say you don't really know your way much around this compressor, because I know compression is a very sensitive, somewhat complex just topic. Come here, I go to the bluey, I choose the male vocal preset, this one. Then I just tweak my input and output to where I like it. I like to feed like my input to where I'm getting a 1 to 2 dB of gain reduction. Then I balance the vocal, just gain matching it and making sure that I'm not getting loud vocal outside of the compressor. So here maybe the last thing that I do, which is very useful with the new Waves plugins, the version 14, is I like to shift the mix knob to like 85% and that's it. So I'm going to play the song with and without the compressor. Pay attention to how it tightens everything up and just glues the vocal together. I'm going to start without. Level, ultra instinct, I'm that nigga. Always invoke emotion every time I spit a line. Lyrical bullets, I open my mouth and murder like homicide. I do this shit all the time. I spit lava like no. You could feel like the low mids coming in to balance the vocal, just to give it a more balanced sound to it without over enhancing those upper mids to the highs. So it's still keeping those at a balanced level and just raising up slightly those lower mids to glue everything together and make it sound more fuller, okay? A quick A and B, listen to the low mids. Level, ultra instinct, I'm that nigga. Always invoke emotion every time I spit a line. Lyrical bullets, I open my mouth and murder like homicide. I do this shit all the time. I spit lava like no. It just... Okay, let's move on. Here I added the multi-band split, mainly because I wanted to somewhat, because like I just explained how the compressor is bringing forward those lower mids just to more like glue the vocal together. I now want to again play with the upper mids, attend more to those, sort of just saturate a bit, bring a bit of excitement and upper harmonics to that vocal using a saturator / harmonic exciter, just to bring forward that passive loudness of the vocal, make it sound more brighter, more open from like the upper mids to the highs. So this is what I did. I used the SSL X Saturator plugin. Beautiful, easy to use plugin. I'm going to do a quick A and B. Pay attention to how forward the vocal comes on those upper mids. Level, ultra instinct, I'm that nigga. Always invoke emotion every time I spit a line. Lyrical bullets, I open my mouth and It's almost even changing the... how can I explain this? It's like you could feel the artist coming closer. It's almost like the artist changes posture and just says the words more outwardly. Like you could feel like everything just coming from the chest up. You understand? It just gives him that more bold sound. Like he's now saying it a bit more aggressively and more presently, just with a bit more attitude to it. It just toughens it up. Like I hope I'm making sense. Because to me, it's just amazing how a few tweaks, how just adding a plugin could bring those just defined characters. Like it's amazing to me. Now, this is the depth at 66, harmonics at 72. I played with a bit of the drive as well, and I played with the shape as well. I left the dry mix level at 100%. I just played with the input and output to match the gain. There's really nothing much to do, except I also added this plus dB button here just to add extra harmonics, but I made sure to balance everything with the output gain, so to make sure that I don't just hear something sounding loud and think, oh, okay, now the vocal is getting better. No, 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 no. So that's everything we did here. Then after that, I felt like, okay, I did what I wanted to do with that harmonic exciter. However, I wanted to add now a compressor to tame the new edition. So this is what I did. I added a CLA2A. It was very perfect for the job. With this, it's a very quick, straight up plugin. Again, with this, I typically go to the Vox preset here, and then I just play with the knobs. I play with the gain reduction first. I get my desired peak reduction. So typically, again, I stick below 2 dBs of gain reduction, and then I do a gain matching where I balance the volume. I keep the analog sound off, and then the trim I like to play around at like the mix level. I like to leave it at like 90%. That's pretty much it. Let's do a quick A and B. Level, Ultra Instinct, I'm that nigga. Always invoke emotion every time I spit a line. Lyrical bullets, I open my mouth and murder like homicide. I do this shit all the time. I spit lava like no other, no baller, clever, face to face. I tell you straight. This one is not really doing much. If you're really, really, really listening to good speakers, good studio monitors and headphones, you could hear how it's just bringing forward those lower mids to help them somewhat meet the new added upper mid presence to sort of just glue the vocal together once more. That's literally it. Like, it's not doing much except that. That's why it's very subtle. I'm going to do again a quick A and B. Pay attention to how it's bringing forward those lower mids without really messing with the effect, with the harmonic excitement that I've done on the upper mids. Listen to this. Here's without. Level, Ultra Instinct, I'm that nigga. Always invoke emotion every time I spit a line. Lyrical bullets, I open my mouth and murder like homicide. I do this shit all the time. I spit. Just perfect. Now, this is where a chunk of the magic happens to just polish everything that we've done, because here you're literally done with the chain here. Now, what I'm about to get to is more so the creative edits, just to further enhance the vocal and allow it to poke out of the mix and sit much better, okay? So I created a multi-band split, and this is it. So with it on, the first thing that I did, I wanted to add somewhat of a texture to the vocal to make it sound more larger and thicker. So what I did was, first I added Auto-Tune EFX here, just to first get this in key. And you can see here it's low male, E flat major. That's the scale of the song. And then I added vocal bender. Now with vocal bender, I'm literally just creating a low-pitched vocal, like a machine low-end vocal. Let's put it like that. And I'm going to do a quick solo so we hear what I'm talking about. But for now, just follow up. And then after that, I'm just adding FabFilter Saturn 2. With this, I'm literally just sort of adding a bit of like a warm tube, like saturation to it, just to sort of slightly excite that effect from the vocal bender. And then literally that's it. And then after that, I just added an EQ to sort of do a low cut and high cut, just to take out the lows and the highs, really just to clean up the sound. Then I'm going to do a quick solo so you can hear this entire thing. Listen to this. Let's press play. Level, Ultra Instinct, I'm that nigga. Always invoke emotion every time I spit a line. And then after that, I created another channel. With the channel, basically, I'm boosting the highs here to give it a bit more presence. I came here at 12K. I'm attenuating like 2 dBs just to tame it slightly, but I'm bringing or boosting forward 5 dBs. That's literally that. I'm going to do a quick A and B here soon. Let me first explain this. So because I knew that I boosted with this, to sort of tame, I added a multi-band compressor. I tamed a bit of the boomy low mids here. I'm taming the added effect that I've just added with the vocal blender. I'm sort of gluing it and tightening it with the original vocal. And then here with the like upper mids, I'm sort of just making sure I'm keeping everything controlled and not so much excitement there. And then again, I'm dealing with like the syllabus. So I'm using this as sort of like a de-esser and also taming what I've just introduced, some of the highs that I've introduced with the Puke Tech here. And as it's not as simple as why are you adding this and then taking it out? But rather, I'm adding it and just taming it and allowing a certain amount of it to just push out and some of it to be tamed back. So that's that. And then let's do a quick A and B.
Level, ultra instinct, I'm that nigga. Always invoke emotion every time I spit a line. Lyrical bullets, I open my mouth and murder like homicide. I do this shit
uneasy to hear. And then after that, what I did was like, okay, I felt like the vocal was now lacking space. So this is what I did. I added a J37 tape with this. I wasn't really doing much except still just shaping the sound of the vocal. So I used a low speed tape, 7.5 IPS. I added a slap delay effect here. You can see the settings that I did, like a low pass and high pass cut, a high pass filter at 90 hertz, a low pass filter at 6.5. Then I came in, I added an EQ. Again, with the EQ, I'm just cleaning up the effect. I'm taking out a lot of the low mids, going down to 0 hertz. Then I'm cutting as well, like the highs. So I'm just taming and shaping the sound. And that's literally it. Then I'm bringing forth the reverb. For the reverb, I used the SSL native flex verb. Beautiful. Although CPU heavy, it's a beautiful, beautiful reverb. So I'm having this EQ sending the signal, like cutting these two into the reverb. And also in the reverb, what's coming out, I'm also EQing it as well. So that's pretty much that. And then I used the compressor here, just played with the threshold slightly here to allow the reverb to really like cut through, okay? And then now let's do an entire A and B again. That's pretty much everything here. And let me know if you want me to do a video more into depth with each of these 3 parallel split channels, the blender, the vocal blender effects. Let me know if you want me to do a video with multi-band compression. Let me know if you want me to do a video more with the tape, reverb. I know that's a not so common way to do reverb. Let me know if you want me to do a specific video on that. Otherwise, let me do a quick A and B and catch you on the next time. I hope this vocal chain really helps you with your mixes. It's your boy Cgnature. Let me play the song and I'll definitely catch you on the next video, okay? Subscribe. Peace!
level, ultra instinct, I'm that nigga. Always invoke emotion every time I spit a line. Lyrical bullets, I open my mouth and murder like homicide. I do this shit all the time. I spit lava like no other, no bullet lover. Face to face, I tell you straight, you's a bitch nigga. Bitch nigga, try me and watch me catch a body. I'm Paul Bearer, I finesse like Dolph Ziggler. My state of mind is way beyond the clouds. Slave shifts to make my mama proud. And I ain't stop until I make a hater bow. Long stroke, my dick game is well endowed. I'm fucking the game up, you gon' learn to love me now.